Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here and back for another event video here on Marvel Strike Force. Are you guys ready for Guardian and his event On Guard for Thee, which I've maybe found out a bit late that all of these are Canadian anthem references, which I probably should know, but I had to be told by somebody else about this. Doesn't make me a very good Canadian now, does it? But anyways, we're here to talk about his event, which is going to involve an arena rank payout. We're going to talk about exactly how many shards that you should be expected to get for Guardian and exactly everything that you need to do for this, including we're going to be talking about the Raid Alliance event, which I'm for some reason blanking on the name of it, but I've been talking about it for the last few days this past week, and the additional bonus milestone points that you're going to be getting from the Spotlight Raid. And I've broken that down into various scenarios. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. And we're going to start things off here with a quick recap of where we are for the month of June. We're looking pretty good. So with the numbers from the final thing here, the final week, we have a grand total of 915,000, which is great, which is a surplus of about 115K. So if you've done every event to the T, picked up all the event currency and whatnot, you'll be doing pretty good. So no problems there. This one actually is a lot better than previous months where, yeah, it's quite a bit more over 800K. So even for maybe alt accounts or newbie accounts or lowbie accounts or whatever, should be not too bad to get to that, I think. But there is a lot to talk about. So first off, we will talk about the On Guard for the Guardian event. I think this is the most important. And in the second half of the video, we'll be talking about the Raid Alliance event, which is quite important as well. And believe it or not, it's not so bad for free to play. Now, obviously, if you do have the full Alpha Flight team unlocked and you're able to do those Alpha Flight raid nodes, you are going to come away with a little more points and some more goodies than others. So let's just start things off. On Guard for Thee is a 7-day event involving Cosmic Crucible, your arena rank / payout, and also using Showcase event energy. You don't need to hoard for this at all for the Showcase event energy. It's not very tough on the coring side of things. You should be able to get away with minimal coring on this event, which is nice. But before we do that, I want to kind of take a look at the actual... Actually, we can do this really quick. This is the web milestone you can see here. It's 10,000 points that you need. And now it's 3 points per X marks the spot energy. 3,300. Again, you'll get this through 100 cores daily. It's not that big of a deal. And you get the orb fragments for Guardian and the milestone points for the main milestone. That's in the math tables there as well. Just wanted to run over that really quickly. But for this, we're going to go into the full screen mode. And we're going to take a look at the tables for On Guard for Thee. And you can see on the right-hand side that there is a fair bit of Guardian shards. 10, 20, 30, 45, 65, 85. This is within reasonable range. There is an additional 25 here down at the bottom, but honestly, it's not reasonable. You're not getting that. There is 7.5 million gold here on milestone 18, but let me tell you, that's really not happening either. And I am a little bit disappointed with the rewards on these milestones, because for those of us who are able to push, like, let's say top 10 in the arena, it's really not good. The rewards for veteran players are increasingly more garbage. So for example, milestone 15 and milestone 16, these are G17 and G18 minis, which honestly hold very little value for veteran players at this point. I know that my main account has, like, in the G18 range, like 500, 600 plus for each of these. Like upgrading characters is not a big deal anymore in the G18 range. And so I don't know why. I think that a lot of this should be shuffled up. I think that we should have a little bit, even just a tiny bit of access to red gear if we're able to, like, you know, max out the free to playness of the event, you know, like just be able to get like a little bit, maybe just some catalysts or like some origin pieces, just a tiny bit. Like what's that going to kill Scopely in terms of having that available? But nope, they don't want to do that. And so the events are great for new players and maybe some mid-game players as well. However, you know, for veterans, there's just not a lot of stuff there. So keep that in mind there as well. Now we'll jump to the raid stuff when we get there. So let's double back to the spreadsheet here. And we don't know what the free claims are yet. Like I said, Guardian Shards are 85 reasonable at milestone 14, which needs 66,000 points. I'm going to zoom in really quickly and disrupt the, yeah, this always happens when I do that. But anyways, 41,000 points for milestone 12 for the event item. That is very easy to get. You can see right here that with the web milestone, you get 38,200 points just from that. So you're almost clearing the event stuff already. You're also going to get about 22,500 points from Cosmic Crucible. This is 18 attacks. So please do make sure that you're doing your Cosmic Crucible battles. It's very important. You do need to do 18. That could be more than 6 in one Crucible trial, actually. It's just but at least 6 per trial, which is a total of 18. Also, from what I understand, it does not include backouts. So if you cancel your attack, that does not count. It has to be a finished attack. I do want to make that very clear. So if you're someone, I don't know, maybe you screwed up a ton and then you just back out like a crap ton of times, you're not actually going to get those points. So make sure that you do actually finish your battles to get the 1,250 per play. That's going to be very important there. The rest of the points are going to stem from your arena. I already went over the event energy above. It's about 480 event energy daily, which is equivalent to about 100 cores per day. So make sure that you're doing that. If you want to, for some reason, clear it earlier, you could do more, but I don't really recommend that. So this is actually an event that doesn't require much cores for the entire week, which is great because, you know, usually events require like 200 or like 400 plus for leaderboard events. So this one's going to be pretty easy on that side of things. Now, the arena rank payouts are different than previous arena rank release characters, which were Panda Pool and Cosmic Ghost Rider before him. And so this one does look different as far as the ranking structures go. The estimated value, I don't know what it's going to be for Guardian. For the purposes of this event, I have used an EV of 5. That could be very conservative. We won't know until Monday at 2 p.m. I will update this table with the correct EV. Also, keep an eye on the Discord server. I always put out the tables there after the event goes live with the updated full version with the free claim included as well. So that's going to be really important. The Panda Pool Ghost Rider EV was 6.15. So that just to let you know what that is. But there was less shards in the milestone for those events. So that's why I kind of went with a lower number. But the arena rank payouts are different this time around. Now, the Panda Pool and Ghost Rider one actually was 4,500 fragments at rank 1. I think I can show you that really quick, actually. So this was the Panda Pool version, which, zooming in a little bit more, 4,500, 44, 43, 42, 4,000 in the top 10. Okay. Now, the difference for this one here is they're all the same. Top 10 are all the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 10. They're all at 3750. So that's interesting. They've downgraded, they've nerfed this a little bit, and it's all the same. So it doesn't matter if you're fighting for 1, 2, 3. Doesn't matter. This is news. This is information that we found out or that we were given on the Envoy server because this isn't publicly available information on the orb fragments, but you're hearing it here first. The rest of the ones are as follows. So 11 to 20, 35, 3,000, 2,500, 2,000, 1,500, all the way down. So you can kind of see it here if you want to see, pause the video if you want to take a look at where you're typically ranking. I would say that if you're even within the top 250, you should be able to do reasonably well in this event, honestly, and you'll be able to get on Guardian Unlocked no problem. So with this information known, let's talk about some of the reasonable points. I have this for top 250, top 50, and top 10. And with everything, doing everything for this event, you can see how it varies a little bit, 75,000, 82,000, 87,000. But realistically, it doesn't really change the outcome of the milestone that much. So this top 250 arena will give you milestone 14.5, which is enough for all of the 85 Guardian shards. So that's really good. After that, it doesn't really change much. You get milestone 15, but milestone 15, if you remember from the previous table when we looked about the rewards, it's just G17 teal minis, and it's really not very good. So pushing even into the top 10, it'll give you more orbs, and it'll give you more shards for Guardian, but on the reward side of things, it's really not going to change much, which is a little bit disappointing. Now, I have 3 scenarios for reasonable orb fragments in the top 250, 50, and 10. And, you know, TLDR, basically, you're going to get 73, add an EV of 5, of course, 73 shards for top 250, 90 shards for top 50, and 103 for top 10. Now, this does not include the 85. So you would stack 85 on top of this. So for top 10, you could maybe walk away with a 4-star at 180 shards if the EV is 5 or better. If it's better than that, great, right? If you're at the low end at top 250, that's 72 or 73-ish, whatever, plus 85, that gets you about a 3.5 star. You're maybe about like 25 shards away from a 4-star. So you can see that we're probably within that 3.5 to 4-star range for this event, which actually is pretty good. So my final notes for this one before we get to the raid stuff, the event does not have a leaderboard, so the only real benefits are the Guardian Shards. There's not a huge amount of differentiation between arena rank payouts, especially the top 10 doesn't really make much of a difference. Make sure to do your Crucible attacks this week. You need to do 18 attacks to finish the points limits, and make sure to do at least 100 cores daily into the event energy to make sure that you're clearing that web milestone, which is going to be really important, and there's a lot of points for the main milestone in that web milestone, so make sure you do that. Now let's talk about From Far and Wide. This is that Raid Alliance event that I was talking about this past week. It is a 5-day event, requires regular raid attacks anywhere, but then you get specific bonus points for spotlight raids. I want to bring up the table for this really quickly because you can kind of see there's also a leaderboard attached to this, so you're going to get the dog tags. That stuff is pretty easy to clear. But further down, you can see that you get a Mega Gold Orb here at milestone 16 at 420k points. There's going to be some blue 5 ions down here as well, and some T4 ability mats. And if you get down to milestone 18, you start to get some red gear as well. So it's not a lot. I mean, don't be too fussed about it, but just letting you know what's available. There's actually some blue 5 and 4 ions in the other milestones as well here too. Actually, even some here. There's some blue 4 there as well. So there is some opportunity to get some good stuff. However, I do want to let people know about the leaderboard that is attached to this event. Diamonds for Sasquatch up to the 1 to 3% mark. I don't know how many alliances exist in the game. I know that there's at least 10,000, I think. So my guess is that that would be 1 to 3% would be like the top 300 alliances. And it's not to say if you're not ranked there right now that you couldn't be, because a lot of this leaderboard is going to be dependent on how many in your alliance are running the Alpha Flight nodes in the Spotlight raid. So you could be able to tip the scales in your favor if a handful of your alliance members actually have the full team ready to go. And even the 4 to 10% players, so that might be like top 1,000 alliances, would at least walk away with a 1 Mega Gold Orb fragment, 1 Mega Gold Orb, sorry, from the payout as well. So let's take a look at the math related to this. You do get 250 points per raid battle to a limit of 240,000. Now this is alliance wide. What this means is you need to do 8 raid battles per day per person. Not that bad. Most of us would probably already do that just in the main raid alone. And so by doing Greek raid or Spotlight raid, you'll be able to do this fine, and it shouldn't be a problem. You get allied orb supply fragments daily on the web. I don't know how much that's going to be. It could be 500, could be 800, could be 1,000. I've seen as high as 1,000 sometimes. But for the purposes of this, we're going to assume it's at least 500 daily per person claiming this. This would be a 60,000 milestone points over the 5 days, making sure that you grab that every single day. Now you're earning milestone points from the Spotlight raid nodes as follows. This is what you get. So depending on the difficulty, you get a different amount of points. Normal, D1, D2. These are the non-mythic raid nodes. These are the Spider Society raid nodes in Spotlight raids. These are the Alpha Flight raid nodes, which you've noticed is like 4 times the amount of Spider Society, and then 2020, this for the final boss, which is only going to be 3 per raid, right? There's 1 per strike team. So whereas the Alpha Flight raid nodes, there's going to be 4 and 4 lanes, so 16 total Alpha Flight nodes. And then Spider Society is 3 nodes per lane, or 12 across a team, 36 across a raid. So it's going to be kind of mathy here, but we're going to do some TLDRs. You can pause the video if you want to take a look at some of the numbers here, though. So I have a couple of different scenarios here that I've outlined. The first one is going to be D2 at 40%. This is basically going to be no Alpha Flight nodes at all. We're basically the non-mythic nodes and the Spider Society nodes required to achieve 40%. And so I've calculated the points out for this, that you would get equivalent to about 25,500 points per day, times it by 5 days. You would get about 128,000 rounding up. Add it with the other points, you would get 430,000 rounding up. And this is actually milestone 16 with the Mega Gold Orb. So rejoice, Marvel Strike Force players. You will, free-to-play people who are running D2 will get a Mega Gold Orb at least. Now, whether or not you get the second one from the leaderboard, I don't know, but you'll at least get 1 Mega Gold Orb. So, hey, don't tell you that Scopely never gave you anything. So there you go. That's D2 at 40%. Now, I have D0 at 70%. and this includes more Alpha Flight raid nodes. You can see the breakdown from here. I've also assumed that the boss has been cleared well, I was gonna say at least once, but it has been cleared on each of the 3 strike teams. So you have at least 4 or 5 people with Alpha Flight. You're getting 70%, which my alliance is actually doing D1 70% now, which is kind of neat. And so you'd expect it to get about 330,000 additional points, getting you up to 630k total by running 70% at D0. Where is that going to get you? Well, it's going to get you pretty close to milestone 18 here at 640. So if you can push a couple more nodes, you'll get this, and you'll get some more blue 5 ions. And that's where you're going to start to get some red gear as well. Now, if you're, I don't know, you're probably not watching this. If you're doing this, you probably don't need my help. But D2, you're just going balls to the wall. You're clearing Spotlight Raid. Good on you. Good spending on you too. D2 100%. You're basically going to get up to 910,000. Now, this is milestone 19, but not 20 because you need 1 million points. What does that mean? Either that means that I underestimated how many Allied Orb supply fragments that you're going to be getting on a daily basis. This would need to be like triple that, so I just don't think that's going to happen. What it means alternatively is they still expect you to pay in order to finish off this milestone 20, which my head's in the way here. For 1 million points, you would get 125 red health catalysts, basic catalysts, and some diamond orb fragments as well. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's actually a cash wall. It's possible, like an extra cash wall on top of that. But of course, don't forget that there is going to be a leaderboard attached to this where you're going to compete for, possibly, maybe your alliance might be competing for diamonds for Sasquatch and more mega gold orbs and some armory 19 orb fragments as well. So that's going to be it for this event video for Guardian and the Spotlight raid stuff and other raid alliance event this week. I do want to say though, for those free-to-play players out there, I don't think that you're probably going to unlock Guardian before the end of that raid alliance event. I think unless you've kind of pulled some shards for Guardian already, I think you're probably going to end up unlocking him free-to-play maybe by like Friday. So you might maybe on the last day of that raid alliance event, but otherwise I wouldn't expect to unlock them too early unless you get some really good luck on your orb pulls early on. That's all I can really say there. So otherwise, if you didn't invest or buy or pull core orbs for Guardian and Sasquatch, you're probably not going to be able to engage on the Spotlight raid portion of that event, at least the Alpha Flight nodes portion of the event. But the free-to-play stuff, you'll be able to walk away with a gold orb, a mega gold orb at least. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys on Monday for any potential updates. Otherwise, make sure that you're keeping up to date with the Boilon Discord server, where you're going to find out everything that you need to know events-wise and everything else Marvel Strike Force. So until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.